especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him.
Responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for...
The boxing world is once again buzzing with controversy as multiple experts and industry insiders raise serious questions about Canelo Alvarez's physical transformation ahead of his highly anticipated showdown with Crawford. Rumors and accusations have been swirling for weeks, but the noise has intensified after several voices pointed to what they see as suspicious changes in the Mexican superstar's physique, particularly his sudden muscular growth in the months leading.
Boxing fights of all time, in my opinion. Yeah. So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. Sure. How does five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? All those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about?" He's like, "Are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso's like, "Fuck no, we not fighting him."
Yeah, of course. Honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, but okay, 100 million, dude. You think you kidding me?
The first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit. But it's always a prize, bro. It's always go out there and beat Canelo, bro. I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of
and I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point.
Yeah.
How much you give me?
Yeah.
and not to just bypass it. Shout out to Morel.
Up to the fight, these concerns are not without precedent. Canelo has previously faced scrutiny over performance-enhancing drugs. Back in 2018, he tested positive, a banned substance often used for cutting weight while maintaining muscle mass. At the time, Canelo and his team blamed the result on contaminated meat, a common issue in Mexico, and he served a 6-month suspension while he returned to the ring and rebuilt his reputation. That failed test remains part of his legacy.
Pressed serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210, closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not going to get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old.
A shadow some believe never truly went away. Now, as fight night with Crawford draws near, whispers are turning into pointed accusations. Analysts, trainers, and even former opponents are questioning whether Canelo's current conditioning has been achieved. Naturally, the size of his frame, the tightness of his muscle definition, and his endurance in recent sparring sessions have sparked fresh debates on sports shows, boxing podcasts, and social media. Some experts claim that such rapid physical changes, especially at Canelo's age and weight class, raise serious red flags. Among those speaking, the undefeated super middleweight contender, who has long had a public rivalry with Canelo, Benavidez.
For a 30-year-old, right? You remember, your body grows. Men's body can grow in height and length up until you're to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length in your mid-20s, you know, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that
has never shied away from calling out the sport's biggest names, and this time, he's not holding back. In a recent interview, he directly addressed Canelo with a pointed question, went further, accusing not just Canelo but also the people around him. He claimed that ***, 5 members of Canelo's own team have tested positive for banned substances ***, at various points, suggesting a culture of doping within the camp. His argument is blunt. If the people in your corner are
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like
there's
Triple
a
G.
lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, light.
Repeatedly linked to PEDs, then questions about the fighter himself are inevitable. When 5 guys connected to you have failed drug tests, it's hard to believe you're completely clean. Benavidez said, that's not just bad luck. That's a pattern. If your whole group is doing it, it's fair to think you might be toe-hile. Canelo has yet to directly respond to Benavidez's most recent remarks. He has consistently maintained his innocence over the years. His supporters argue that the clenbuterol
MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has
incident was a one-time mistake caused by external circumstances, and that Canelo has since undergone all the standard testing required by major sanctioning bodies. They point out that no official governing body has flagged him for any violations leading up to the Crawford fight. However, in the court of public opinion, perception often matters as much as facts. And in boxing, where millions of dollars and careers are on the line, the hint of an unfair advantage can spark outrage. Crawford's team has not publicly accused Canelo of wrongdoing, but sources say they are pushing for ***.
What we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Rigorous, independent, drug testing *** in the lead up to the bout. Both fighters are expected to be under the *** VADA Voluntary Anti-Doping Association *** program. But some critics argue that surprise. Round-the-clock testing should be mandatory. The stakes for this fight are enormous. Canelo is not only the face of Mexican boxing, but also one of the sport's most bankable stars. Crawford, meanwhile, is a pound-for-pound king in his own right, looking to cement his legacy by toppling one of the biggest names of this generation. Any cloud of suspicion over performance enhancers could undermine the event's credibility.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random VADA testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately. Namely, Crawford's sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters
and taint the outcome. No matter who wins, it's not just about fairness in the ring. It's about the sport's long-term health. Boxing has had a complicated relationship with Pez for decades. From high-profile busts to behind-the-scenes whispers, the issue has eroded trust among fans. Legends like Roy Jones Jr., Shane Mosley, and Evander Holyfield have all been linked to performance-enhancing substances at one point.